Hola a todos y bienvenido a mi canal. Our goal is to aprender español con cuentos cortos. Learn Spanish with short stories. This is comprehensible input for A1 level Spanish learners and includes a full vocabulary breakdown and of course, some grammar always sprinkled in for good measure. Our title or título for today is La Chica Increíble, the incredible girl. We're going to start by going over some of the nouns, adjectives, and verbs you will see. So the first noun we have, the sustantivo that we have is the talent, el talento. So this is a cognate, and it looks very similar to what we're already familiar with in English. To pluralize it and say the talents, you have to change both the and talents. So instead of saying el, you will say los talentos. Los is the masculine plural form of the. So in Spanish, soccer is actually referred to as el fútbol. So it's referred to as football, which can be a little bit confusing at first. If they're referring to football, the sport that we would call football, they would say el fútbol americano. So they would say American football. So I also have two languages here. To say the word German, as in the language, it's alemán. That's a little bit similar, but not as similar as talent. And to say French, the language, it is el francés, with a little accent right on the E. So next we have the adjectives or adjectivos. Spanish adjectives have to be changed to match the plurality and gender of the noun. So if there's a singular noun and it's masculine, it would be rápido. If it's a feminine noun and it's singular, it would be rápida. If there are more than one, so it's plural and it's masculine, it would be rápidos. And then rápidas would be for feminine and plural, and that's to say something is fast. Difficult is actually a cognate. It is very similar to what we're already used to. Difícil. The reason why it sounds like that is because we have to emphasize the I. There's an accent over the I, so we emphasize that syllable. Difficult is difícil. If it's plural noun, we say difíciles. This doesn't end in an O or an A, so it doesn't have to be changed for gender, only plurality. Important is the same thing. It doesn't end in an O or an A, so we don't have to change it for the gender, only plurality. If there's one object, it is importante. If there's more than one, they are importantes. And that's also a cognate, so it's very easy for us to connect that to what we already know. So next we're going to move on to our verbs, or verbos. There are three types of verbs in Spanish: verbs that end in AR, verbs that end in ER, and verbs that end in IR. And today we're going to be focusing on AR and ER verbs. Nadar is an AR verb. It means to swim. There's an AR at the end. To sing, cantar, another AR verb. To play, jugar, another AR verb. And then we have our ERs at the bottom. Correr means to run. Entender means to understand. And the reason why the ending matters is because you conjugate them differently depending on the endings. Don't worry about that too much right now. Just know that there are three. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and jump into the story. La Chica Increíble. On the top, there's the Spanish. On the bottom, there's the English. I'm going to read the Spanish, and you have the English to refer to. So go ahead and pause if you want to connect any words that you're unsure of. Hopefully, you can kind of connect them. The next slide will be color-coded in case this is a little difficult, but I want you to just have a chance to try to connect as many words, try to recognize as many words as you can. And I'm going to read this slowly the first time. Hay una chica con muchos talentos. Ella sabe nadar y cantar. También puede jugar al fútbol y correr muy rápido. Ella entiende libros difíciles, entiende alemán y francés. Finalmente, ella entiende algo importante. Es una chica increíble. Okay, so now that you've had a chance to see it with the English version, I want to break it down just a little bit more. So now we're going to go through line by line and break down each line and kind of discuss some of the differences in the way that we say things in English versus in Spanish. Hay una chica con muchos talentos. There is a girl with many talents. Talents there is the plural form because there are muchos talentos. It's got to be plural, so we have to add that S at the end. Ella sabe nadar y cantar. So here we have, she knows how to swim and sing. In Spanish, we don't have to say how to. If someone knows how to do something, you just put the infinitive verb. So ella sabe means she knows, and then I added the infinitive verb after that. Nadar means to swim, y and cantar, to sing. She knows to swim and to sing. It would be the literal translation, but really that means how to. También puede jugar al fútbol y correr muy rápido. Also, también, she can play soccer and run very fast. The way to say to play a sport in Spanish is jugar, which means to play, and then we put the word al. Jugar al sport that they like to play. So jugar al fútbol means to play soccer. We can't just say jugar fútbol. Y correr muy rápido and to run very fast. Ella puede entender libros difíciles. She can understand difficult books. So we, in English, put the adjective difficult before the noun books, but in Spanish they flip that order. So they say books difficult instead of difficult books. Libros difíciles. And again, make sure that you emphasize the syllable with the accent on it. Difíciles. Puede entender alemán y francés. She can understand German and French. Alemán is the way to say German, referring to the language, y francés is how you refer to French, the language. Finalmente, se da cuenta de algo importante. Es una chica increíble. Finally, which is a cognate, so finalmente looks a little bit like finally. Maybe we could figure that part out. Finally, she understands something important. She is an incredible girl. Se da cuenta de is a phrase that means understands. It literally translates to realizes that. She gives realization to the fact that is almost kind of what is being said there. So, se da cuenta de means understands. It's just another way to say it. Algo means something. Importante, important. She is an incredible girl. We could say ella es una chica increíble or just es una chica increíble. The reason why we don't have to put she there is because we already know who is being referred to. We know that es is referring to the is that is connected to her. So she is una chica increíble. Okay, now I'm going to read through it again a little bit quicker this time. Hopefully you're able to pick up more than the first time around. La chica increíble. Hay una chica con muchos talentos. Ella sabe nadar y cantar. También puede jugar al fútbol y correr muy rápido. Ella puede entender libros difíciles. Puede entender alemán y francés. Finalmente, se da cuenta de algo importante. Es una chica increíble. Buen trabajo. How many words did you understand? ¿Cuántas palabras entendiste? Make sure to leave a like and subscribe and leave the number of words you recognize on that last read through down in the comments. Thank you so much for supporting the channel, and until next time, happy learning!